Joining me now for reaction is Republican Congressman Mark Meadows, who's the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, and Representative Raja Krishnamoorthi, who's a Democrat from Illinois. It's great to see both of you. Let's start with you, Congressman Meadows. I just delivered some tough medicine. Maybe it was too tough, maybe it was too harsh, but you know that's what I'm going to do. But when I look at this legislation, I like to call it legislation. It's more than 1,000. There it is. I think this is not draining the swamp. Who's actually reading this, Congressman? Who has read this entire bill tonight?
Well, I can tell you, no one's read the entire bill. Some 2,232 pages that we just got a little over an hour ago. I'm about 200 pages into it. Obviously, we have staff going through it. But really, this is not about draining the swamp. And when you look at bill, were you too harsh? No, the answer is no. You could have been a lot harsher. I mean, we continue to fund sanctuary cities. We continue to fund Planned Parenthood. We don't build the wall, but yet we put money in for a tunnel. The last time I checked, when the president was campaigning, he wasn't campaigning for a tunnel between New Jersey and New York. He was campaigning about a border wall on our southern border. And so, you know, there's a lot to be disappointed. We're still going through this, but I'm not very optimistic that there will be conservative wins in this.
Congressman Krishnamoorthi, if I'm a Democrat and I see the House is in Republican hands, the Senate's in Republican hands, and we have a Republican, a conservative populist Republican like Donald Trump in the White House, and I see Planned Parenthood funded, sanctuary cities funded, Chuck Schumer gets his mega tunnel, New Jersey, New York, and a bunch of other stuff gets funded. There's not a lot to be upset about, really, in this budget, all things considered. Your reaction?
Well, look, I think that the president's supportive on a lot of shared priorities. It fully funds military and domestic programs, additional funding for the opioid crisis, which is just ravaging our district. And then it helps to increase funding for NIH, as well as making sure our veterans are taken care of. I think I haven't read the whole bill, as Mark mentioned, but I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful that we can come to a compromise by tomorrow.
Now, you haven't read the bill, and I'm not criticizing you because there's no one. I mean, the Evelyn Wood A+ citation student couldn't read this bill, okay? So I'm not criticizing you because you just got this. Now, given what we know about our current debt levels, yes, it's exploded under the President Obama, exploded under Bush, and now it's set to increase by, you know, it could be increased by another $1 trillion. Mark, tell me if I'm wrong about this, under what we're looking at tonight. Don't we have a moral obligation to be honest with the American public about where we're getting the money to fund all these important priorities? China, Japan, Germany, all the people we're borrowing it from, and all the printing we're going to have to do, because we don't have this money, do we?
Well, we don't. And Laura, here's one of the interesting things. Yes, we'll end up with $1 trillion deficit, probably that will come out in October of this year, $1 trillion plus. But here's the other interesting thing. You don't have to read the fine print to understand that we're going to grow the size of government by 12 to 13%. So when you're looking at that kind of growth, I don't know that his district or my district, anybody back home saw a 13% increase in their wages, but yet we're somehow going to give government a raise like that. Here's the other problem, Laura, is this. We have a Republican-controlled House. We have a Republican-controlled Senate, and we have a Republican in the White House, and we have a Democrat here tonight saying how great this bill is. There is a problem there when you have that.
Well, I think the right honorable gentleman from North Carolina makes some points.
Congressman, first of all, I already like you because you came on the show. A lot of your colleagues won't, but I already like you because you're being honest. Like, you have to be. This is a good bill for Democrats. It's good. The military gets tons of funding, and that's all great. Military needs a raise. I understand that. But you're smiling. It's not just because you're hanging out with us on a whatever the heck this is, Wednesday night. You're having fun. This is a good deal for Democrats. I'm sorry.
How can you not smile when you're standing next to Congressman Meadows? Look, the bottom line is this. I think, look, I haven't read the full bill. I haven't made my final decision on this. But if it fully funds military programs, right now our military readiness is at all-time lows. Secretary Mattis has said we can't go on yet another continuing resolution, a stopgap budget. It would hurt the military. If for no other reason,
maybe we should think about that next time we commit our troops to some godforsaken country, right? I mean, maybe we should think about what it's going to cost. we like submit our troops again to another multiple deployment, intervention. I mean, it's all well and good now to say like we're in the hole like $5 trillion, but
right. But Laura, here's the other thing: is if we wanted to fund the military, why didn't we just put forth the funds to fund the military and deal with the non-defense discretionary separate? But somehow we put them together so that we grow the size of government. That's the problem.
Well, I think we got to take care of the veterans. We got to take care of the opioid crisis.
The veterans.
I mean,
we always hear
really
about the veterans. It's veterans, veterans. Every time I raise an issue about the bill, people say we got to take care of the veterans. Okay, I understand that, but we also have other issues that are weighing down on the American public. And I do believe tonight the American people have to understand this. We're going to have 438 congressmen, we've got 100 senators going to vote on this legislation in the next, 72 hours, guys? 72 hours, something like that?
Probably quicker than that.
Okay,
yes.
48 hours. And I would say 98% of them, and I'm being charitable, will not have read this. And we're going to have to pass it to see what's in it. We're back in that stage. And I know there's good stuff. People will get some help. But we've got to go back to the regular order where each department,
I agree with you.
Each department gets a budget and each budget is voted on and we can have some transparency. And maybe it's this long. Maybe it's this long.
I really think Speaker Ryan, I'm really disappointed that Speaker Ryan didn't present us with a budget, this particular bill sooner than tonight. We need regular order around here so that I'm rank and file. I'm not leadership.
I got it.
I don't run the trains around here. All I can say is I need more time to read through this thing. I'd like to work with people like Congressman Meadows and make it a better bill. But if the choice is not funding the troops, not taking care of the veterans, not taking care of the opioid crisis, and a shutdown, I can't do that. I just can't do that.
Congressman, they're putting you in that position, and it's the way Washington works. Like, do what you got to do. You got to pass it because otherwise the troops aren't going to get. It's just ridiculous. You cannot. I mean, we cannot do this to the American taxpayers and our future generations. But Congressman Meadows, Congressman Krishnamoorthi, it's great to have you both on. Fantastic,
great to be with you.
Fantastic segment, and it's.